My name is Rob Senft, and today I'm presenting information on what it means to be a caregiver through my own experience. I lost my wife Renee in 2014, October 17th, to early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. Her family suffered. Her mother and her grandmother both passed away from this disease. What I share with you today is simply my experience, and I hope that it'll be helpful to you. What does it mean to be a caregiver to me? I liken that experience to be much like a new enlistee into the armed forces. You're eager to serve. You have the energy because you're called upon, and you want to answer that call. So you go heroically into the fight. But you don't really know what you don't know. You go through the basic training. You help your loved one out. Maybe it's early and you can help them eat and bathe. And maybe things aren't so bad at first. But soon the bullets start whizzing by and the bombs start exploding. And you start losing the essence of yourself. You turn your attention to that loved one, to those around you. In my case, I had 3 younger children. So I had to help nurture them through this experience. And you start digging that foxhole. That foxhole brings you comfort in this area of despair, anguish, anxiety, fear. But the foxhole you dig becomes your home. They call it the long goodbye, dementia and Alzheimer's, for good reason. Because you're in that foxhole for 5 to 7, sometimes as long as 10 years. You don't know what you signed up for. You just know you wanted to do what was right by your loved one. And when that war is over and those days come to an end, you climb out of that foxhole and you look at yourself and you ask, who am I now? You're carrying on now a new burden of grief, and you've sacrificed so much of yourself for that loved one. And now it's time to find yourself again. And how do you do that? What was it like to transition as a caregiver? It was very difficult. With dementia and Alzheimer's, the diagnosis doesn't come early, it comes late. And by that time, your loved one has changed and you don't understand how they've changed. In my situation, I thought it was a midlife crisis. I'm 45 years old, the kids were growing older. I thought maybe she was angry at me because of the transition of life. So you never know when the disease takes hold, but when it does take hold, you know you have to be committed. The initial change is, how am I going to care for my loved one? And that's the most important thing to you, is caring for your loved one. You've made that promise for better or worse, richer or poor, sickness and health, and you're committed to that. But what does it mean? To me, it meant dressing my wife, making sure that she looked nice, because she always took well care of herself, making sure the kids were fed in the morning, that their schoolwork was done, that I was meeting the needs of the family, but at the same time losing sight of what my own needs were. I remember dressing Renee one time to go out for a party, and it's not easy being a woman, I found out. To put together that look, that it was always spectacular, that seemed effortless to Renee, took me hours. To tuck and fold and put together pantyhose and bras and move things around. It was tough and strenuous, but at the same time, it brought us close together. That is one of the benefits of being a caregiver. You draw closer to your loved one. They're so dependent upon you for so many things. Taking a simple shower or bathing her was an intimacy. Intimacy that wasn't like normal husband and wife intimacy. It was tender and caring. And we got so much out of that. What did I learn as a caregiver? I learned I wasn't alone. I learned that people genuinely love to give. And when I no longer could take care of my wife and take care of my family in the sense that I would normally have a companion to help me with. So if it was meals, I could call on the parish, her friends. Meals came from all over, from different religious sects, from different people in my community that I had no understanding, even knew who I was. And why was that? Because I was willing to ask for help. Rule number one as a caregiver, ask for help. Help will come. Help will be there, but not if you don't ask for it. My suggestion to caregivers is to be open to receive the love and kindness of others. It'll help you along your path. So if you need transportation, or if you need meals, if you just need a companion for your loved one while you get away, because you must take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is as big of a part of the component to survival as it is taking care of your loved one. They would want you to survive this. They don't want you to sacrifice. I remember Renee telling me one night that she was tired. And I said, let's go to bed, honey. She said, no, I'm tired. And I said, are you tired of what? I don't want to be here anymore. That is a tough moment when your loved one looks to you and says, can you take this from me? And all you want to do is take it from them. But you must remember that you must take care of yourself as well if you're going to take care of them. What have I learned from being a caregiver? I found that I have more strength in me than I ever knew I had. But I also realize that I do not have to walk alone in my life ever again. I can turn to others for help. I can communicate with my family on what I need to have. So as I helped Renee, and as others helped Renee, our robes were washed. We were cleansed in this sacrifice. And if we continue to think that we're not worthy of love, or we try to blame, then we never move on and we never find ourselves again. Because of the experience, I found that inside me, I had strength that I never knew I had. But it was also the commitment of others to provide strength to me. And I cannot say this enough. As a caregiver, you must look to others to help you. Many of us will have a caregiver come in our homes and provide care for our loved one in the morning. What was the toughest time for me was at night. I had come home from work. I prepared my wife's meal. I then prepared my children's meals. I then did some laundry. I walked the dog. I may have spoke to a friend. I fed myself. I put my wife to bed. And in the dark hours of the night, I prayed. I prayed for the strength to be able to make it one more day. To have the hope that someday I may have happiness and joy again in my life. The darkest part of my day was that night, because we'd have no one there to assist us. What would I suggest to anybody who is entering the role as a caregiver, who's going into caring for somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's in particular? I would look for the resources that are available. Through the compassion of others and through prayer, I was provided angels that came to me and provided the solutions. I had Midwest Care Center that provided care in hospice for my wife. But I didn't seek that out. I had one choice. I started Oasis Senior Advisors franchise because I wanted to give back to those that had given freely to me, providing choices for my loved ones and how I might care for them, helping me walk through that stressful time that I had no idea of what may be coming towards me. I was excited to serve and care for my loved one, but I did not know what I did not know. I lost 2 jobs because I had to take time off of work. I almost lost a child to suicide because I couldn't pay the attention that she needed as a young teenager. My children suffered and I suffered, and there's resources out there to help reduce that suffering. It doesn't have to happen. Whether it be in your community church or your neighbor or a loved one, a family member, or through many of the agencies in the state or local government, or with services such as mine, Oasis Senior Advisors. There is help out there. You do not have to lose yourself when caring for someone you love.